Hi, this is Roland from R&D Hotline and the host of the shows What is the Positive and also the Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties. And I'm here today with my friend Amy Sattinger. And Amy is a very special person that has a lot of different talents, and she's going to introduce you to a couple today and also talk a little bit about what she does. Say hi, Amy, and tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Good morning, Roland, and thank you for having me this morning on this new show. And as I guess a brief introduction is that what's called I'm an astrologer and a life coach, and I actually use a system called Western Sidereal Astrology. It's a bit different. I know Roland has a couple questions, but just in a nutshell, it is really the way astrology was done originally, which was based really on the constellations in the heavens, the fixed stars, and what's happening in the solar system versus the seasons. And so I think we're going to talk about that a little bit this morning.
Yeah, and this system makes so much sense to me because otherwise it's like the position of the stars when I was born and blah, 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 and extrapolate that out what it means to me now. But the stars are nothing stays the same. Nothing stays motionless. Everything is transforming and everything is moving. And it makes sense to be in stride with the whole thing and watch the stars and see where they are and see what new things are developing in the galaxies and what's going away and what's changing. And that makes sense to me. So the whole concept of Western Sidereal makes a lot of sense to me. And I've had Amy do me a couple of readings, and they've been extremely interesting. You're not the normal astrologer by any means. So it's pretty interesting. And by the way, before we go on, we do have Gary Wayland has joined us out in the audience, and I hope he's still around, and we're saying hi to him as one of our guests. So thank you for showing up, Gary. So back to you, Amy. Maybe a little bit more about your Western Sidereal Astrology and talk about your business, your aspect of what you do for people.
Sure. Thank you, Roland. So again, as Roland was saying, what's to understand in the popular astrology, which is what we call tropical astrology, it really was based on the seasons. And if we look throughout history, we can see at the time of Hipparchus and the time of Ptolemy, where we were on the planet, it was all right to use the seasons. But most of us know now the Earth kept tilting, and as it spins on its axis, of course, we call that precession. So as the Earth continued tilting and the constellations have moved westward for thousands of years, what happened is in popular astrology, it's like we froze the screen, and now everything is about 24 degrees off. So if we think about where we are as people, if we are going to refer to our past all the time in order to see who we are and where we're going, it gives us, if you will, an old screen as compared to giving us something that's more neutral and more positive that can really empower us now and in our future to have more possibility and more potential. So for some people, this may change what we call the sun sign, but part of to me, the importance of astrology and helping empower people is when they understand the pattern. I remember when Roland and I actually did his chart, when people understand more about the pattern of who they are and they can really use their talents and gifts, it just enables them to have a very fulfilling life and to make greater contribution. And when, I'm sorry, go ahead, Roland, sorry.
Well, one of the things that I like about not just the perspective of Western Sidereal, I like the way you interpret it and what you implement it from a standpoint of what kind of tools you hand the people in the midst of your consult. And because it's one thing to read everything and say, the do's and don'ts, avoid this and beware of that. And it's almost like a superstitious concept. Regarding your presentation, it's almost like an empowerment because they say, what are the conditions and what is the spiritual feel of the universe that's going on right now. And then they say, well, how we can take advantage of this is we know that this is a really good time to exemplify in our own efforts, in our own intentions, this or that or various things. And it's like, it gives us an inspirational energy with which to pursue what we do, not just what we think. And that's what I really like it. It's an empowering thing that makes people, allows people to step forward and do something.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Roland, for that, that wonderful observation. That is my goal. And as a life coach, as you said, my interest is not in saying to you, Roland, your moon and sun are here, good luck. It's quite the opposite. It's quite the opposite. It's looking at those things that empower you and those things that challenge you. But like you said, my whole interest is providing tools for people while we do these sessions, so they do feel empowered and they recognize these energies because they're living with them every day anyway. And if they know there's actual tools and things they can do to make a difference, like you said, people feel empowered because we have times that are so incredible. But if we're not well grounded, we may go over the edge and not use that opportunity as well as we could. And if we have a time in our life with big challenge, but there's opportunity coming, if we move through that challenge more consciously, then we have a huge opportunity when things open up. So that's why I want to teach people. Sorry. Yeah.
No, very, very good. Another aspect of who you are and what you do is your light bearing. You are a light giver for an organization right here in Rancho Santa Margarita, as a matter of fact, that teaches a very interesting thing that on giving light and healing and the spiritual nature of giving light. And it's very similar to the concept of Reiki, which inevitably is all the same in God's energy, right? It's all the same. But tell us a little bit about your light healing and locally here, what you do with that. Oh, I think we had a freeze. I'm sorry. We'll probably.
Thank you, Roland.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about the light.
Yes. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you went through a couple of freezes, but we're okay now.
Okay, yeah, sorry about my internet. I need to probably give more light to the wireless connection. That would probably help, right? Anyway, what Roland is saying is I've actually been a volunteer, and we call it a light practitioner or divine light practitioner. Basically, we offer an energy, this divine light energy, which I've given light to people and to the environment, to my car. I've done this for over 25 years now. And what I find is it helps for positive vibration within the person. They begin to think more positively. And even when they may encounter difficulties, they're able, because their spirit has what I call received some soul food. And I think we all need some good soul food to strengthen us right now. So when their spirit receives that soul food, their mind and body can follow, if you will, in a more positive way, in greater alignment with their higher good. So I've had many experiences giving light to people and receiving myself over the years. And actually when I do sessions in person, I ask people if they would like to receive light. And if they're interested, I would like to offer them a few minutes of light during the session. And if not, of course, I never would, emphasize it. But many people have had interesting benefits and so many experiences. Everything from, I was there when one of my friend's children was born. I've been on airplanes with wild storms where we gave light and things calmed down. Just almost everything you can imagine. And so it's a very strong part of who I am. And I want to help many people. So
that's really cool. And we actually have a very strong connection with this, because the same concept and philosophy and indeed ideology that Amy is discussing it comes from the same root of something that I discovered and studied from the age 15. So look, to the disclosure statement, I've been studying this for 47 years myself, and I've been giving light, which we called back then, we call it Jore, which means divine light, and we would channel with our hand the same way, and we used to chant a special prayer before giving light, and it was called the Matsuno Rito. And so it goes, Taka amahara ni kamuzumari masu. And so it's got a lot of the same words. It's based on the same prayer that Amy uses today, 47 years later, in her practice with her people. So I found that fascinating. And so inevitably, we come from the same roots, only just different branches of the tree. And we've been dealing with light for a long time. So I've been doing it 47 years. And it's not something that everybody knows about me. And anyway, it's a very strong thing, one of the strong connections between Amy and myself, and one of the reasons we get along so well. It's just we have a very similar upbringing and philosophy of life.
Thank you, Roland.
So we're going to go on to the next thing about you, which is to introduce Leo and Gertie and talk about that for a second. So first of all, let's just meet them, and you can introduce them to us, and they're your pals. And then afterwards, we can talk about some of the things, some of the ways you implement the use of your friends and what you do with them and what your goals are with that. So go ahead and let's introduce Leo and Gertie.
Hello, my name is Leo the Lion. I am here to say hello and to bring a lot of good cheer to people. Nice to meet you.
Thank you, Leo. Okay, Miss Gertie. Let's see if we can get Gertie on the camera. How about that? Is that good?
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Gertie. I'm a hugging hippo.
Yeah, I'll give my mom a hug.
Give her a hug. Thank you. Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to meeting everyone today and seeing how I can contribute to the show. Thank you.
So where did you start using Leo and Gertie? What was your experience with that?
The short story is, at the time I was married, and I was expanding my career doing voice acting and improvisational theater. And I found a new side of myself that I loved doing. I'd always been interested in puppeteering and always been a big fan of Shari Lewis and Fred Rogers and some other people. And I'd always had stuffed animals since I was young. I used to talk with them when I was young. And so at the time, my partner encouraged me to start talking with Leo. And literally, Leo and I would drive around in the car, and we would talk with each other. And at first, I really thought I might be losing it. I was a little concerned. But the man I lived with was a real character, and he had a house full of stuffed animals, and I did. So we knew we were meant to be together. But what happened as a result was, and then I got Gertie. Gertie came shortly after that. And I didn't realize it, but at the time, I would take them everywhere with me, not thinking that much about it. And I'd go to Trader Joe's, and they'd pop out and say hello. And so it felt normal to me, but it was a little bit odd at the beginning, to say the least. So I pretended they were for my grandchildren, just so that I had a little way out, you know. And after that, quite honestly, I began a side career working with kids, doing some teaching and tutoring and doing some work with children. And I didn't realize at the time, of course, that Leo and Gertie were the greatest teachers and healers for children. So it really did morph into really a side passion, because the kids would listen to Leo and Gertie where they wouldn't listen to me, and they'd open their hearts. And the kids that were wounded, honestly, Roland, didn't like Leo and Gertie, and they'd push them away. And it was very revealing for me to see the state of the children emotionally, to see where they were. And it enabled me to either step in and assist them, or sometimes, honestly, it was the wrong family, and I was told to move on.
Right.
And since then, they've helped a lot of adults, of course, touch their heart. And they've traveled with me, really become they're true companions who sometimes will speak the truth better than I can. As myself, I can do it better through them. It's interesting.
That's interesting. One of the things is when you bring that in front of a group of small kids, it makes everybody happy. And there's nothing as healing as people being happier than they are, especially in the midst of worry and pain and suffering. And then all of a sudden they can put a smile on their face in the midst of all that. If, as you say, some people push them away. But I think it's because the pain or whatever they're experiencing is so overwhelming that they cannot open their heart and they can't expand there. But when they can, they're uplifted, the smile hits their face, and there is nothing as healing as placing yourself in a happy mood. There is nothing more healing than that. And between that and bringing the light, there are more ways you bring the light than just with the Joré or the healing light from the center that you go to. I mean, when you go to people and you lift their spirits, when your eyes meet theirs, when you exchange a little bit of dialogue, when you touch their hands, that's all conveying light. That's all conveying the vibration and the healing power of what we have as human beings. So I'm thrilled to hear that these little puppets enable you in that way. And I've gone nuts a little bit of the same way myself. I found myself talking to myself and various things. So you are not alone with the alternate egos surrounding us. There's no way you're the only one.
That's very that's comforting. Thank you.
Yeah. So the other thing is that you've found that it's really good for kids, but senior citizens tend to revert back to their childhood anyway. So maybe that's the connection with the seniors are able to revert back and drop all the ideals and barriers and things that they've accumulated during their life and say, I'm still a kid at heart.
Yes, it's actually where I'm living. My friend's mom lives with us right now, and actually Leo and Gertie have had 2 very joyful evenings where they'll come out and talk with her and with my friend who's her daughter, and we've had maybe 20 minutes where we'll visit, and Leo and Gertie will hug her and talk with her about different things. And she's a very wise, wonderful person, and they've had more fun with her, but she lights up. It's really been a beautiful, and again, it's totally improvisational theater. They'll entertain her, and it's nothing rehearsed. It's from the heart, and all of us are happy. My friend, her mother, of course, I'm happy, and Leo and Gertie are just delighted to be able to, go out and cheer someone up and entertain. They love that.
Yeah, you're your own kind of Pied Piper, really, and you just raise people's spirits when you go places. And I know that you are very eloquent with your speech. You're a good writer, but when you show up in person, that's a different kind of light, and that's a different kind of effect on people. So I know that you cheer people up. This is just a fantastic way that you do that, and the improvisation of what you do is amazing because. Whatever, usually I'll be sitting there and say something about like, let's talk to Leo and Gertie, and you are right in character just like that. And so they're obviously a part of you everywhere and what you do. But I guess that's the magic of it. How long have you, Leo and Gertie, been a team?
Probably 1999, 2000, something like a long time. And I can't even remember. Yeah, I can't remember before then. So I guess it's a part of me now.
So these guys are all in their mid-teens.
They are.
But we're very youthful. We're very youthful.
I know you are. You're very youthful.
I guess so, yeah.
They are, though. Yeah.
So do you have any plans for Leo and Gertie?
That is, that's a great question. And that's actually one of my interests, thanks to you, in actually doing some Google Hangouts and seeing actually if there is a way, because I know children love them, but of course Google Hangouts are more obviously talking about adults. So it's interesting that with your encouragement, I'm looking to see if there might be a useful way to integrate their wonderful talents besides being live. I've been encouraged. I have a number of things. I've actually been encouraged to think about, for example, Chalk's Children's Hospital. It takes a bit to be one of the volunteers there, but I do have a friend who's in charge there about seeing if they could possibly do a little show there. I know they could really help the kids, but that's rather complicated, but it is one thing I'm considering. I'm also looking at where else we could do some, I think, more interaction, with either children. I'm not sure I'm ready to go and do elder things yet. It's a little too far from my own background. And I have a few other pots on the stove, as you know, right now. I'm just beginning work on a film. But Leo and Gertie are such a strong part of who I am that honestly, that's part of why I'm interested in seeing with Google Hangouts what would be the best use of our time and energy, knowing that I need to really stay focused on where we can make the greatest contribution, the three of us.
So I will give you the off the cuff, off the top of my head view of what I think that could happen. First of all, Google Hangouts would be a great facility for you, and you'll be able to invite families, parents with kids, to come watch the programs. They are not necessarily 18 and over. They are not restricted unless you make them restricted. So little kids can watch. And if you make that available to them, especially if their parents would get involved and get on the computer with you and basically be there and interact with the Hangouts, they can type messages. You can have guests join you in your green room so they're side by side without invading your household. You can have other people speaking right there in the green room with you. You should probably have an alternate person to help run the tech support while you do this, like comment tracker and those things and so forth. So you and another person, myself perhaps, I could definitely run a show, and that's one thing. But the connective device is that Google Plus and YouTube are all connected through Google. And if you do this, you can verify those accounts and they'll strengthen each other. So the other thing is a Google Hangout, like when we get done with this Google Hangout, it gets automatically posted to your YouTube channel. Well, my YouTube channel in this case, but if you produce those yourself, all of those become property that you own and they get uploaded to Google. And of course, being Google, it's public domain and they can watch, everybody can watch it and everybody can use it, whatever they want to do. But it's your video. You get the credit for producing it. So if you put things in a YouTube channel, your Google Hangouts will be added to the YouTube channel. And if you do things like the remote recording that you had from the event that you were talking about, you can take a copy of that in an MP4 or whatever format and load that to your YouTube channel, and you could get quite a YouTube channel going and support kids. They'll all be watching your YouTube channel and watching the videos, and you can be conveying a lot of good to a lot of people through support of this, and connect that all with your website too.
I would love to do that. I really would. And I thank you for the encouragement and the opportunity. I think it's a beautiful idea to start that feels much more interactive than sitting and posing, because they're very, Leo and Gertie are very responsive to people. They're all about the heart. So I think that's a wonderful idea.
And see, if you had the show going, you could have I could show you how to arrange it so you could be monitoring the comment stream and then actually running your show at the same time and being able to pay enough attention with the help of a support person. They could monitor the comments coming through and show the comments something like this. Like if I grab this comment from Gary Whalen and show it like that, then the comment comes up on the screen, as you can see right now, and we can talk about I don't know what Gary is mentioning here, but I mean, we can comment on the comments coming in from the kids and from the parents in your audience and actually show them. And if they're watching the show and all of a sudden their comment with their name pops up on the screen, that's going to light them up and they're going to say, oh my gosh, she's showing my comment, you know. And so that connects you with the audience immediately and indelibly. The kids who get to comment, all of them will be commenting because they all want to show up on your screen. So that's one of the things that encourages the connection. And if it encourages the connection, it does it through enthusiasm and love and joy and fun. And that's great healing stuff for the kids. So I think
that's
that
wonderful.
I think it could be really popular.
And I think it's great. And the kids could bring their stuffies, you know, I mean, and they could talk to each other. That's, you know, the whole point is to welcome people to be themselves and to open their hearts and to find ways, like you said, what is the positive? Well, with children, it's different, but it's still, that's my intention, is to always plant the seeds of positive with the families and children.
Absolutely. And it's so easy to tell, basically, when they start smiling, they're being positive. It's that simple. It's like when we spread joy and love, that's the key. So the bottom line, and I think that you're prepared to do that. And you can find facility with these various platforms like Google Plus and Hangouts to actually accomplish this. And then intermingling with Facebook and Twitter and some things, it's harder because so many of those things are geared towards adults. However, I do think that there's a way to go and you could get some mileage out of it because there are a lot of parents out there. A lot of parents looking for the right kind of environment to place their kids to watch.
Exactly. And that is one of our goals when you asked. One of our goals actually, which will be a subject for another conversation, is one of my colleagues has a beautiful program that she's designed called Imagine Wisdom Education, and we'll talk about it. And she and I would like to make beautiful videos with Leo and Gertie with very positive content, actually a little series that we might be able to share with parents and children with very purposeful content about positive values and character to inspire kids, and of course entertain them, make them laugh. Of course it's going to be for children, but that's a long-term goal, and I'd love to be able to participate in the Google community in being able to to begin to create that, like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, only now we're in 2016 and maybe it's going to be Leo and Gertie in the neighborhood.
I think it's a show meant to happen. It's just waiting to happen. So we'll have to see how it goes.
So, yes, thank you. I think you're absolutely right, and I really appreciate your encouragement.
Well, and I got to tell you that you're a natural for this. This is officially your first Hangout on Air where we're recording you, right?
Yes.
So this is your first time out the chute, and we'll be having some fun with these in the future. But at least we know that you're very likable, very presentable. You have teammates that are popular already, Leo and Gertie. And I'll give you a couple minutes here if you'd like to wrap it up as far as your presentation and how can people get in touch with you if they want. We do have your website in the comment stream, so they can always contact you through the Astro. I can't remember the name of it.
Astro Coach Amy.
AstroCoachAmy.com, and that URL is in the comment stream, so we'll post it again and do that. But go ahead and give a last couple of minutes of sign off and tell people how to get in touch with you.
Oh, okay. Roland, what I want to do for a minute is say that were it not for you and all of your skill and coaching and internet marketing and business and love and encouragement, there would not be an Astro Coach Amy website. There would not be many, many things that I've been able to develop. And I guess I'd like to take my last couple of minutes to really acknowledge your encouragement, your wisdom, your expertise, that really you've made just an enormous difference in my being able to make a bigger contribution out there. And Google Hangouts, which I've heard you talk about, and as someone who already is a presenter, I join with you in that I want to give back and contribute to the community, and I want to educate people in how to better use astrology and life coaching so they can have a more fulfilling life. But that wouldn't be possible without the support and expertise and all the web and all the IT work and the internet marketing and coaching you've given me. So I'd like to be one of your shining examples, seriously and sincerely, for without those contributions, I wouldn't be where I am today. And so I have nothing but gratitude to all the gifts you've given me in your work.
Well, thank you, Amy. I want everybody to know that I did not pay Amy to do that, say that. And I appreciate it. I've always seen your goal as a worthy one, and Hangouts are free. It doesn't cost anything. I mean, minimally, nominally, to get started with something like this. And it doesn't cost a lot as long as you've got a computer, headset microphone, and a camera on your computer. You can be in business. And then it takes learning some stuff, which I'm happy to share with you. And this is a facility that anybody can start, as I did a year and a few months ago, to get the word out about what you are, what you do, and so forth. So the biggest thing is that even at our age, old dogs can learn new tricks and keep up the paces with the current trends and make use of them. And right now, Hangouts, streaming media, this is the key to the future. So how are we going to use it to best suit you?
I agree. And I guess, Roland, my final thing to me that's really important is I like to think of myself as a youthful elder, but really I feel one of my roles right now is to be a really valuable mentor to the younger generation, because they're our future. So with Leo and Gertie, with you as someone who feels like she's getting younger, she's getting older, really every day my greatest desire is to inspire one more person so we can make a better today and a better tomorrow. And I guess with that, I'm going to sign off, but Leo and Gertie want to say goodbye.
Bye. I just want to say goodbye. Thanks for having me. I look forward to being a great contribution to Google Hangout. Have a great day.
Thanks, Leo. Gertie, go ahead.
I just want to say goodbye. I'm sending everybody a big hug. And I look forward to really meeting a lot of people on Google Hangout and being really, really helpful to the planet.
Thanks, Gertie.
All right. So thank you, Amy, very much for spending.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And it's been a pleasure. And I know that this, once again, just exemplifies the light you bring everywhere you go. And we'll look forward to communicating more of these Hangouts and doing more work together. So thanks a lot for being with us.
Roland.
And thank you to the audience. Gary Whalen and let's see, Dan Weeks showed up. Appreciate you guys showing up. I mean, it's really means a lot to me, and I thank you very much.
Thank you.
And to Amy. And we had about 7 people sign up, and hopefully a few of them will watch the replay and get some more enjoyment out of this too. So thank you very much, Amy, and we're going to be seeing you more in the Google Hangouts and Google Plus collective community. We'll see you again soon. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.